Lamar Wilkerson, who is committed to Indiana Hoosiers, the Sam Houston State transfer, who you think back to, I think honestly, it seems like such a long time ago. There's so much stuff that happens over the summer, but kind of somewhat of a crazy surprise commitment to Indiana, just a surprise recruitment.
Hmm.
Obviously, Lamar Wilkerson was a heavy lean to Kentucky. He went out there on his visit. He went to Keelan, which is a can't miss visit, and I said it was a can't miss visit on a video. But in the last dying moments of his recruitment, Indiana and Coach DeVries swooped in and supposedly made him a substantial offer, a substantial pay increase, and also we're set to add a close personal friend and coach of Lamar Wilkerson, and now that is official with Justin Bailey, who was the associate head coach of Sam Houston State, was added to the Indiana staff to be the director of player personnel in Bloomington. Now, with this occurring, there is a lot of chatter that this is the reason that they beat out Kentucky because obviously you look back on it, there was a lot of talk about DeVries, doing certain things to sweeten the pot, whether it be financially or whether it be because of this move where they're hiring Justin Bailey in order to secure the commitment of Lamar Wilkerson. So, Rob, I'll throw it to you. Is this the reason is this the real reason they beat out Kentucky, or is it the other reasons that we heard? Like we heard Lamar Wilkerson say on Field of 68, great interview with Goodman and them saying that he didn't want to go to Kentucky and just be another guy, or he used that phrase, being another guy. Is it the money? Is it the being the other guy? Is it that they hired his former coach? What is it for Lamar Wilkerson?
I think the hire doesn't hurt, but I think aside from what was it, Mike Boynton hiring Cade Cunningham's brother? Is that who it was?
Yeah, yep, yep.
Like aside from like a really immediate family connection, it's part of the equation, but it's not the whole equation, right? Like I think there's a clearer path for playing time in Indiana. I do think Wilkerson saying he didn't want to be another guy. Like if you are a major contributor on the Indiana team that is quote unquote back for the first time in quite a while, you are going to be a legend forever in Bloomington in a way that you probably are not going to be at Kentucky. More playing time, the opportunity for that, the opportunity for a bigger role as well, I think makes a lot of sense. Yeah, hiring your coach and someone you're familiar with helps and is a factor in that decision. But I'm going to assume the NIL is pretty comparable as well. There's a lot of things that are in play here, and you could make a legitimate case, as much as Kentucky fans may not want to hear it, that Indiana was a better option, perhaps a more appealing option for a multitude of reasons other than just hiring a coach.
Yeah. Also, like my main takeaway from anytime this comes up, um, I guess I'm trying to think how I want to put this, the best way I put this. If it makes you feel better that that's the reason why you thought you lost this recruitment, then go ahead and like just say it. But also at the same time, if I'm a coach or I'm a AD or something like that, look at the top recruits that just came on in this recruiting class. I'd hire Papa DeBanza and Papa Peterson in a minute. I don't give a damn. They
Hmm.
could do whatever. They could be on my staff. They could be my associate head coach. If that's not really their cup of tea, they can work in the admissions office. I really don't care. I will give them a title. If that's what you need to do to get players, then do it. Who cares? You brought up Mike Boynton hiring Kate Cunningham's brother. Great. I would do the same thing. Like I think that you know, in recruiting, it is so cutthroat, right? It's
Yeah.
cutthroat and it's you do what you have to do to get any advantage. And in this case, it's a guy who played a big part in Lamar Wilkerson's development, is a source of like a close friend and like some familiarity. And with Coach DeVries building a new staff, it doesn't hurt to have a guy like Justin Bailey on the staff, who's the director of player personnel, and you have Lamar Wilkerson, and the quiet part that I'm going to go ahead and say out loud here is, okay, this doesn't work out after like Lamar Wilkerson has 1 year in Indiana, I believe. I think he only has 1 year eligibility. If it doesn't work out after this year, you go ahead and tell Justin Bailey to go find a new opportunity. But it's a rental for 1 year, and you feel fine about it. If he's good, you keep him. You keep him, and you hope you can
Right.
use his other connections. But I don't know. I feel like in the recruiting, and I even find myself doing this with my own team. You always want to find a reason like why you lost a recruitment, and I understand it's to make you feel better, but at the end of the day, you just lost the recruitment. So like
Yeah.
it is what it is, right?
Yeah, sometimes as a South Carolina fan, you get guys who are committed and all the graphics go out, and then he ends up going to West Virginia.
Ralph, let it go, man.
Don't know what happened there. Um, I think too we got to look at this from the Indiana perspective, certainly, because first off, you got a sitting Division One assistant coach to go be your director of player personnel, and I know that's a major upgrade going from Sam Houston to Indiana, but that helps. Also, you're relying on Lamar Wilkerson to be a really good player for you, to be a major contributor. And there are questions about players making the jump from Sam Houston and from that level to the Big Ten, to the level like Indiana. Wouldn't you want him to be comfortable? Like,
You,
wouldn't you want to make sure that you're maximizing everything you can get out of him? Right.
mhm.
So there's an element of that too, or maybe you don't have to do this. Maybe this didn't factor in his recruitment at all, but he's there. Let's make him a little bit more comfortable. Let's get somebody who's helped with his development. Let's continue that because we need him to be maybe not a star, but a high level starter for us. Let's make sure that he's good, and if this may help him, again, we're getting a sitting Division One assistant coach as our director of player personnel. Yeah, sure,
Yeah,
why not?
yeah, not much of a downside to it. And the one thing I'll say, the good part about Kentucky is, and I mean this with all due respect to Indiana, Indiana was way more desperate than Kentucky. Lamar Wilkerson would
Yes.
have been an incredible piece, but like Indiana basketball is in a spot where they are coming off Mike Woodson, right? Like they are in a desperate need to be great, and they need to,
I like Woodson face.
they, they need to pull all strings to be great, right? So, or to
Mhm.
be a better basketball team. And this is one of the strings. So they put a little extra zero on that, little comma on that check. And they hired a coach that would make them feel a little bit more comfortable, a coach that he's familiar with. And look, I came on here and I was like, that sucks for Kentucky and Mark Pope because I think Lamar Wilkerson would be incredible in that offense. I think he's a really good player. I think he's gonna be really good for Indiana. I'm really high on Lamar Wilkerson in general. But Kentucky also wasn't in a spot where they need to act desperate. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that it's bad that Indiana, because desperate comes with such a negative connotation, but just a little more sense of urgency on Indiana's side than on Kentucky's side, which is why when I come back on it, obviously my tone was a little different in the video you probably saw 2 months ago or something like that. But Kentucky's in a spot where they don't have to absolutely go all out, pull absolutely every single string, kind of with the recruitment of Lamar Wilkerson.
Mark Pope has also shown through two off seasons at Kentucky now that he's not going to stop recruiting position just because he got somebody who should fill a big role,
Mhm.
right? Like you get Lamar Wilkerson, he's committing to you to start and play a big role.
Right.
But as we saw with Pope, with Amari Williams, that didn't stop him from going after other big men last year. That almost scared Amari Williams off, right? This year, you get Jalen Lowe. Tagoe comes back, you still go get Denzel Aberdeen. And there are questions about like what that's going to do. Pope can figure it out, and he's shown for a couple seasons now that he is really good at massaging that and getting his rotations right and keeping morale in the locker room up and building a cohesive unit. But if I'm Lamar Wilkerson, I got a better chance of being the guy at Indiana when I commit, and I might be the guy at Kentucky when I commit. But I also know like Denzel Aberdeen hits the market, I might be hitting a back seat to Denzel Aberdeen. Suddenly now I'm super six man. I don't know if that's something I want to totally do.
Yeah. Sometimes it comes down to, a player's wants uh
Right.
mean something, right? Like, and maybe, I think his role at Indiana is going to look completely different than it would at Kentucky. And that ends up being the decision. And like I said, if you want to peg a reason why he chose that spot to help you sleep at night, go ahead and do it. But at the end of the day, he's an Indiana basketball player, not a Kentucky player. And Indiana did what they had to do to get Lamar Wilkerson, and they should get credit for that. And Kentucky stood on their business and they pivoted. They got Denzel Aberdeen, and they'll be okay. And we'll just see how it plays out this year. I think Indiana Kentucky play this season?
They do. They restarted the series.
Well, we'll settle it this year. I'll see. Is it at Rupp?
I believe this year is at Rupp.
I think it's at
Um,
Rupp too.
I believe this year is at Rupp, but I did retweet the Indiana announcement of it.
Hmm.
So let's see here.
Yeah, because one, I love that the game's happening. That's gonna
Oh,
be
absolutely. Anytime you get blue blood programs playing each other, particularly ones that have the history of those two, like that's a win.
that's
Yeah, Rupp this year.
Rupp. All right, well, I'll
Rupp
see you
December 13th.
December 13th. Rupp, I'll see you all there. We'll settle this.